Many drivers panic when they hear their brakes squeal, immediately thinking they need new brake pads. Now, over the course of my 30-plus year career, I've lost count of how many times a customer asks me, "How much does a brake job cost?" Now, this is like asking your doctor how much brain surgery costs because you have a headache. But really, all joking aside, I get it that most motorists ask questions like this out of fear of being viewed as ignorant, because a common result of ignorance is being cheated or swindled. The idea of asking specific questions is to communicate that you will not be victimized and you are in control. And this is a really good idea. But the key is you must actually know what you're talking about. Good news. This is what GearCast is all about. Empowering you with knowledge about how to think, not just parroting buzzwords and terms. All right, so back to those squeaky brakes. A squealing brake doesn't always mean that you need immediate pad replacement. It could mean an underlying problem is developing, or it could be from a previous repair where low-quality cheap parts were installed, or regardless of the part quality, the installation process was subpar. Look, we all have seen the videos online of someone demonstrating how fast and easy it is to change out brake pads and rotors in 20 minutes. And this is highly deceptive, although I doubt it's nefarious. This follows the simple premise that the unlearned present errors more effectively than the learned present accuracy. Now, I'm going to repeat that statement again because I really want this idea to sink in, not just for this subject, but really for just about anything pertaining to a skill, regardless if you possess that skill yourself or need to trust that someone else does. So listen carefully and really think about this. The unlearned present errors more effectively than the learned present accuracy. Now, this is important to consider regarding brake repairs because the real danger lies in the common misconception that brake repair is a simple swap out of worn parts. This implication is especially true for vehicles that live in the Northeast region, which is unaffectionately referred to as the Rust Belt. Simply replacing brake pads and rotors without servicing the system components is a really bad idea and almost always leads to premature failure, noise, potential safety issues, and damage to related components. Components you may never realize are even connected to your brakes. Now, this whole idea should cause you to ask, if cheap parts and cheap installation processes are so prevalent, why don't I experience a problem shortly after the repair is completed? To answer that question, I'm going to shamelessly plug our GearCast topic titled, A Ghost in the Garage, the Slow Burn Repair. In that episode, we define the two types of errors encountered and their implications. Please check it out. Staying on the topic of quality, there's a family of sayings commonly attributed to Ben Franklin around this idea. One goes something like this. The bitterness of poor quality remains long after the sweetness of a low price is forgotten. Now look, regardless of who actually said it, the premise follows. Now, some will rightly shake their heads in disagreement with this maxim. And to explain this, we're going to need to get into a little bit of formal logic, but please hang in there with me. One reason someone may disagree with the premise is because it may appear to be formally fallacious, meaning it doesn't sound correct. But in fact, it's not fallacious because it's a single, non-propositional statement about consequences over time and doesn't present two separate premises drawing a flawed conclusion. However, that idea certainly could be inferred, which is why some might question it. So right here is the perfect time to bring our approach to the forefront. Here's what I mean. Just because something costs less than you expect doesn't mean it's poor quality. Now, the converse also follows that just because something is expensive doesn't mean it's high quality. The inference drawn in both cases is what is called in logic affirming the consequent. Affirming or asserting the consequent is always fallacious and should be avoided at every turn. Now, if we change that Franklin proverb into an argument, the ambiguity will be removed. So let's convert it, and hopefully the idea becomes clearer. All right, here we go. If the price is cheap, the quality is low. The quality is low, therefore the price is cheap. Now, this is asserting the consequent because there are many reasons other than quality that a price may be low, and There are many low quality products and services that are really expensive. The key is recognizing when we're asserting the consequent, then shift to thinking correctly. In this case, it's considering the true value of a purchase, which is the long term benefit gained in relation to the money spent. One of the critical steps of responsible decision making is understanding the idea of opportunity cost, which is the value of the next best alternative you forgo when making a choice. Well, it seems like we just visited a rest stop called formal logic, but now let's get back on the highway of understanding vehicle braking systems. I'm thrilled to dive into this series with you. We're going to gain a complete understanding of how the braking system interacts with your entire vehicle, giving you the knowledge you need to make informed decisions regarding vehicle maintenance and repair. I'm Troy Binder, and this has been GearCast.